You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
Okay, there you go. Okay, cool, good. Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I'll just be here, if you want to go through and just do your thing. But let's start out with like how what you were thinking about when you wanted to join Storage Nerds. Like, what was your vision of like a facility? All right, that'd be good. Just kind of give that.
So when we purchased this, it was during COVID or the kind of the end of COVID. And so we wanted to run a business, but we were really afraid about, what businesses got, a lot of business got shut down in COVID. A lot of businesses had different restrictions and so forth. And we thought, and some businesses just ran out of business during COVID. So what we wanted to do was to find something that did well in the good times and also could survive, if not do well in the bad times. And that's where we came up with storage. And I found Stacy on Facebook. And, she's always available for a call. And she set up a call with me where I could learn more about Storage Nerds. And we signed up in January of 2022 with Storage Nerds. And then so Stacy has these online classes that you can just take by yourself online. And we did all of those. And we got to the point where we're ready to really start looking for a storage facility. And Stacy has different ways of doing that. You have driving for storage, where you just drive around and you look and you see. You have you can look on your Google Maps for storage. If you are in a tertiary market, beware that not all the storage units are Google approved and that you won't find them on there, but you can find them looking at the map, what looks like a picture of a storage unit, you can find it that way. So with a combination of that and driving for storage is how we found our storage facility.
Now, remind everybody, where do you live at? So everybody kind of knows too. Yeah, so what area?
We are in northeastern Tennessee, very close to Virginia, very close to North Carolina. And it's very much a tertiary market. We were not able to find anything right around where we lived. Our facility is about an hour away, but we were, that's what we did, just driving, and we found that.
I remember when I talked to you, you were like, I just want something like within 30 minutes.
Right. And so we had to expand.
Go through that process. Yeah.
Yeah. And, sometimes maybe you don't want to live like right near your store. You want to be like some distance between you and your tenants, maybe. So it worked out okay for us from that perspective.
Oh, good. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember like you found like within 30 minutes, you found like 9 facilities or something. Like I think you started out that way, then you kind of worked your way out, right?
Yes. I called all of them. And, they said no. And one of the things that you're offered in the Storage Nerds is a lot of techniques and tools to try to talk to a person. And Stacy has sample conversations that you can listen to recorded on how to speak to someone when you want to approach them about buying their facility. So, I called people, and I can't tell you how important relationship is. I have a lady now that I still call every now and then. Do you want to sell? Do you want to sell? And she's like, oh no, but I have your letter. And that's another tool you get on Storage Nerds is the magic letter. And what it does is it shows people, if you're going to pay cash, this is the amount. If you're going to owner finance and maybe put 25% down over the course of time, they're going to get more than your 400,000 cash offer, because they're going to get that. I don't analyze over time. I forget what you call it, but I'm not a finance major, but
and the amortization
or something. Yeah. So they're going to get more money. And so you show them that letter, and this lady says, I still have your letter, I have your letter. And so I think relationship is very important. When I called the owner of the current facility that we have at the time, the owner, he had owned it for years. It was in his family. And he said, I said, would you be interested in selling? He said, oh, absolutely not. He said, I get calls all the time. And then he said, it would have to be a ridiculous amount of money. And so that was like an opportunity, like the door was open that much with that statement. And I said, well, how much? And thanks to Stacy's deal analyzer, I ran that number and it ended up that it really would be workable, quite workable. So I said to him, well, how about if my husband and I just come and visit you at your facility and just learn about it, see about it, no commitments, anything. Can we just come? He said, well, I guess you could. And we got there. And I can tell you, we were there for 2 hours. We talked about storage for maybe 15 minutes. And the rest of the time was him telling his story, just chatting and getting to sense whether he felt comfortable with us or not. And by the end of it, I said, well, could I just send you an offer letter? No commitment. Can I send you a letter? Well, I guess you could. So I sent that letter, and this is Stacy's magic letter. She calls it. Is that right, Stacy's a magical letter?
The magic offer letter. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason it's magical is that you can see how, well, if I extend this owner financing loan out for 10 years, wow, I'm going to get a ton more money than the original offer number. And they see that and they like it. And this man saw that and he said, you know, I took this letter to my 3 best friends and they said I should sell. And as it turned out, he was having some health problems. And with that letter, he was able to see over the course of time, my wife, if I don't make it, my wife could be earning an income and she doesn't have to care for this facility. So that was a really, really big help. But we only got there because we were able to be patient with him and work on the relationship. And I think that's why he sold to us. And he said, I get offers all the time and I turn them down. But so
that's because everybody's just sending over a cash offer.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. They just send over an offer. That's it. Like, okay, I'll pay 400 grand or whatever, you know. That's why you have to spell it out because owners, I mean, they don't know, until you explain it to them.
They don't. And that was the thing. We had the choices. We ended up paying 400,000 for it. It had 69 doors. And I'll show you, maybe we can switch to the Google Drive and just show them.
Yeah, just share your screen, just show whatever you want to do. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so,
and then also I was going to ask you while you're pulling that up. So what was it like? I mean, give some tips to everybody on the phone because you were actually very good on the phones anyways. But like give some tips on the phones because a lot of people I talk to, like I just had a coaching call with one of the other students. She's like, it's so nerve-wracking just calling owners. Give some tips of kind of like how you manage calling the owners and talking to them because you did this very well.
Well, and I just would call and I'd ask him, how are you today? And I'm just wondering if you might be interested in, I said, I'm looking to purchase a storage facility and yours looks like a really nice one. And I'm wondering if you'd be open to receiving an offer letter. So I'm complimenting them. Theirs looks like a really nice one, even if it didn't, right? But I see it looks nice because for me, it's a diamond in the rough. So I'm telling them that it looks like a really nice one. And then I'm saying, would you be open to receiving an offer letter? So I'm not saying that I want something from you, right? I'm asking them if they're willing to receive something. Like I have something to give you. Would you accept that? And it's a lot easier to accept something than to have to give something. And so it's just a letter. You could just look at it. You could throw it in the trash, whatever you want to do with it. So, and I think that is the key. And then if they say, yeah, I could receive a letter, the next question I ask them is I say, and would you be willing over the course of time, if I just check in with you? Because maybe you don't want to sell it right now, but maybe something happens and that changes. Can I contact you over the course of time? And they say yes. So yeah. And to be honest, I did have trouble at first getting anyone. It's a really good investment. So a lot of people are wanting this investment and you almost have to find someone who is maybe near retirement, or like this guy having health problems. He didn't know he wanted to sell, but he looked at that letter and said, yeah, I want my wife to have income over time. So I think that is the key. Just you know, letting that anxiety go aside and looking at it like you're not asking something of someone. You might be gifting them with something. They just don't know it yet. You know, like
that's it. You're creating a win-win situation.
exactly. It is exactly it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So,
And then also, so like when you talk to the owners, just so everybody has an idea, when you talk to the owners, what information are you gathering from them, and so that you can go back and try to figure out if you want to buy this facility?
yeah. Oh, good question. So what I want to know from them is obviously I want to know what is the income this is producing, but money is kind of a scary question to ask at first. So that's not the first question. The first question is, oh, you know, it looks like a really nice facility. About how many doors do you have? And then I'll ask them now, you know, I really want to give you a very best offer as I can. So I want to know like, what's the breakdown of those doors? And then, you know, can you give me an approximate, you know, what, or then I'll ask them, you know, what do you charge per door? That's an easier question for them to answer than what's your income, right? Because anybody can call and rent and they know so I'm just asking questions that people would know. And then those are the main questions that I ask. And from that, I can plug those numbers. I have enough information to plug into the deal analyzer with that.
Yeah. Okay.
So can you see my
Yep.
screen?
So you have your picture. Yeah. Explain this.
Yeah. So just ignore these lines. This was when we were thinking about putting fencing in, how, you know, figuring the cost on that. So the storage facility, when we bought it, this was a mobile home and we didn't know it, but the lady living there was a drug dealer. So there was traffic in there all the time. And I can't imagine if I was renting there, I would feel very uncomfortable with that. So this is the other thing you want to do is if there's any touchy situation, you want to make sure that the previous owner handles that before you buy it. So that's part of the deal. So what we said was, we want you to evict her before we purchase this. She's got to be evicted. So that was done. She was gone. The trailer hauled out. This is the owner's RV. And we said he could keep that there a little bit. This is a shipping container. And our perspective was we wanted everything to look uniform on our facility. We didn't want to rent some stuff out of a shipping container. This is a concrete block building. And then these are regular storage units. So, and then this here, the property was a C-store, a gas station. And this was the C-store in here. So there are some units in there. So we did not want that. So that had to go as well. And that's what we set up in the deal.
How much was it? How much did it cost to get the trailer out?
What he ended up selling the trailer to someone. And so they took care of the cost of getting that trailer moved. But
so that was included.
Yeah. So you can see this is the entrance and someone had a truck there for sale. They used to have yard sales here on a Saturday. I mean, all this, and we ended that. But you can see this sign is like a little bit bigger than a realtor sign, very tiny, puny little sign. And they still had the sign up here that it was a market. And here, can you see one of the doors is busted out? It was these glass doors and the door is just broken out. So
oh gosh. And
yeah,
that's where there was like, is that indoor climate control, or what did y'all end up doing with that?
It's not climate control, it's just indoor.
Indoor. Okay. Yeah. We have a warehouse that we just do indoor storage for. We built it in. Yeah.
You know, and these people have a second layer of security. We put a garage door, you know, a rolling door right here in place of those.
Okay. So you took that door out and then just put a rolling door there.
We did. And I'll show you, I'll show you some. Oh, okay. I want you to see this. So do you get a picture of this, everybody?
This is the pricing.
See, this is his pricing. And his theory was keep the prices low, you'll always be full. The problem with that is that if you don't check around your market, maybe you don't know that everybody else is always full too. So there's an opportunity to increase the prices, which we did. Now you can see they're making checks and money orders. They get an envelope out of here, they put it in here, and you can see about how secure that feels. That's what people were accustomed to doing. Okay. Just forget these numbers I typed on the picture, but this is how he kept track of his units. All right. Units 1 through 6 are 5 by 10s and so forth. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to show you
That's what he gave you when you wanted to know what the unit mix was and stuff, and like it's a facility
Yeah,
map, or that's what he gave you. Yeah.
that's the
Good.
picture that he keeps. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so can you,
Okay, turn your backdrop off if you're trying to show us something.
yeah,
Okay.
okay, hold on a second. Let me go into settings. Okay, you know what
Symbol
I'm
on the door. I
you
mean, they're
know
just
what
like
I'm
putting
gonna
the money
do?
in the slot.
I'm going to put it up on, it's a picture. I have a picture as well. I'm going to quickly put it up on the Google Drive. And what I'm going to show you here, these are how he kept track of the payments. Okay. So
Okay.
everything was paper. And now one of the things, I'm just going to keep talking to you while I do this. One of the things you learn from Stacy, you get a whole nice vendor list, right? And so the vendor list included storage, which is a software system. So you don't have to be doing this paper like this, right? You don't have to do that.
Well, and I
Okay.
remember
Yeah.
you deciding on which software to use and stuff, because I think you talked to like a lot of them, right? Or did you
Yeah.
just do ESS? Yeah, okay.
So every state you're in will have a storage association for that state. And the first thing, we did was we went to the annual Tennessee State Self-Storage Association meeting. And of course, that's a great time to get to meet all the vendors of every different thing. And we settled on storage because I think it had a lot more capability than some of the others, and it had space to grow, which was what we wanted to do. We wanted to grow this facility, and then we hope to own more facilities. So here you can see, this is how the owner kept track of his payments due, right? Here's the person's name and their units. And then this particular guy, he's owed for 3 months, not paid. So that was allowed, just owing for 3 months. This one here, I don't know what his address is, what his phone number is. How would I, if I auction him, which we ended up doing, how would I end up contacting him legally? I don't know. And this number here, this is the last time he paid, all right? Or this is when his next payment is due. And then he would write in cash or check what he paid. So it was a big kind of mess when we took over getting the data. And one of the things I said to him was, I said, before we purchase this, I want to get all of the names and phone numbers at least, and addresses if you can. And he was having health troubles, so we really didn't get all of that. So what I had to do was we took this down. I had to put a sign on this door saying, include your address and phone number with your payment. Okay. And at the same time as we bought this, we were also getting storage set up. And it does take, I forget if it was 1 month or 3 months for them to get you set up. So we were 1 month. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were
And
going.
were people actually giving name and phone number and address, like when they put the checks in and stuff?
Yeah. We had a sign, if you haven't done it yet, put it on here. So they would. And so that's how I slowly kept track of everyone.
Okay. That's funny.
Yeah. This was a room in the back. Like, look at how cruddy it is. Do you see that?
Nasty.
At least the security system was not set up. That was something we added. I should have taken a picture before I put that in, but I didn't. So that's that picture. Here's another room. This sign was one that we got. He didn't have that, but you can see how cruddy that kind of looks, Trying to think if there's anything. Those are the before.
So before we get into the after then, so talk about just the financing. Like, what did you end up purchasing it for and getting it financed for?
Yes. So we gave him an offer letter, which I'm trying to remember, included 400,000 cash as a possibility, 25% down over 10 down, and then a 10-year note. And I can't remember the third possibility.
Is it the what about the interest rate?
3%. We looked
3%. Yes. Because that's what back then I was like, you should just do 3%. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was, we joined StorageNerds in January of 2022. We had an agreement for sale in April of that year. So Stacy says you can buy one in 3 months. If you work hard, you can. So April, it was still kind of going up a little bit, but we were able, I said 3%. I thought he could always say no, right? Or he could always come back with a different offer, but he liked how that letter looked and those numbers at the bottom. So he went with it.
That's good. And then it was a 10-year balloon. Was it amortized over 20 years or the mortgage? Or is it
Um,
just 10 years over 10
it's
years? Or
just
what is
10
it?
years, just 10
Just
years.
10 years. In 10 years, you're going to have this thing paid off. Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Oh, so what is the mortgage every month?
Um, I'm trying to remember because so Andrew and I, we have separation of duties, so we get everything covered. And I'm more dealing with the tenants and things like that. He deals with
Okay.
the vendors
Money.
and the finance. But I think we are paying about $3,000 a month. I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah. So, okay.
So
Okay, cool. Good. So, and then, so now you've had this since 2022. So
yeah,
a
we
year?
actually ended up closing in July of 2022 just because his attorney was tied up.
Okay.
And
So 1
so
year you've had it
we
then, a little
started
bit over
running
1 year.
it. Yeah, we started running it in August of 2022.
Okay,
So,
cool. All right. So talk about that process. Oh, yeah. First of all, talk real fast the onboarding process. So what were you doing before you closed? Like, did you have to do anything or were y'all working on stuff or what were y'all
well,
doing to close the property? Yeah.
he was struggling getting hold of the tenants. So I asked him ahead of time for the tenant list. And I think we offered him that letter to send out to everyone. And he just had a lot going on with his health and everything. So I called every single person and I said, that we've purchased this from Matthew and it's going to happen in such and such a date, and everyone that I could contact. And the other
Okay.
one,
Yeah.
I would call, like I have papers here that have, 4 different numbers and I'm crossing them out trying to, so I did that. And then we did research regarding what software you want to do that ahead of time, what software system that you're going to want to do. So that.
What about getting it? Did y'all work on getting it on Google?
Yes. So, and again, Stacy has these resources and they're tried and true. She's done it for years and it's kind of nice not to have to reinvent the wheel. So, one of her resources that she has, there's a person who builds websites for you, and he was working on that. And he also totally takes care of the Google for you. So what you want to do, you can Google storage. And maybe all the storage facilities will come up, maybe they will not. But what you have to do, and this is a process, Google's not super easy to deal with sometimes, you have to contact Google and tell them that your business exists, even though it does and it's on their map, they don't. So you have to tell them that it exists and you have to show proof. Sometimes you have to take a picture of your mailbox with your building in the background so they know this is a real place, and you send that to them and then they send you a postcard and you have to verify that. So that does take some time. So that's another thing you want to do ahead of time. It does not cost any money, but it's a real benefit when your potential tenants are going to search, I want storage in Irwin, Tennessee. Where can I find that? That's if you register with Google, that's going to come up for you.
Yeah, so that's one of the first steps we say is make sure you get on Google, claim the business or whatever. But then also, just so you know, Jennifer, like just in the past, like maybe month or couple months, they updated the Google business listing process. And so now you have to be there and you have to take a video with you walking through your property. And they have to be there online and see it or whatever, or something like this. So it's like I guess there was a lot of fraud or something. So they don't do the postcards anymore. They only do videos.
Oh, wow.
So that's like a whole update. So when you get your next facility, you'll have to do that, but yeah.
Okay. So let me show you, I showed you the before, let me show you the after. You saw what was before. We don't really need an office, but sometimes we'll meet with vendors here. Our modem or our router rather is in this office. Otherwise, we might rent it out, or someday we could move the router and that could be space that you could use to rent out. And we still have the old desk here, but this is that room in the back that was all dirty. This is where we keep our security. And
so why do you have the router in the one room and not in the other room? That's just how it was, or what?
It's just, yeah, it's how it worked out. We should have put everything in the back, I think, but that's what we could do.
That's what I would do is I put everything into that one room and then maybe use that other room as just storage you can rent out.
Yeah, and that's something we could do. We could definitely do that in the future. I showed you that other little sign that was like a little realtor sign. Well, this is what we did.
That looks really good.
Sign.
Yeah, that looks really pretty.
And these here are all new buildings. So what we did was after we got our business kind of stabilized and everything and got a feel for it. So like I said, we started running it a year ago, August. Then the following February 2023, we added 13 more doors. Now, we had a challenge because this building right here, this building was at one time a C-store. There were gas pumps. I don't know that I have a picture of what was left of that. So we were very concerned about disturbing the ground underneath because of those old gas lines. So we were looking, and we found that Janus has some portable buildings that really look like regular buildings. You would not know. So these are the Janus portables, lots of options on colors and such. And those are about 8,000 to 9,000 a unit. All right. And I'll show you, I don't know if I have a video. I don't know if that will show on here or not, Stacy, of these.
Try it and see. We can always just try.
Okay. So this is the process of putting these in. These are all the new ones.
How many did you get?
The first, we got 13 new doors. You can see how they match with I should turn the sound off, but I don't know how. You can see.
Yeah, turn on the left side. You can do it if you wanted to do it again. The left side of the video, there's a volume. Do it one more time.
You want to see it again?
Yeah, just do it again, and then do one more time, and just that little button on the left. There you go.
There we are. So these are the new ones. You can see there's no foundation underneath those. They're setting on the concrete. Now there's the old ones. You see how well they color coordinate with the old ones.
Can you only put those? You can put those on just regular ground, or do they have to be on concrete?
No. We got some additional ones just this year. We added 4 more, and we put them on gravel. And I don't know if I have.
So you just had like a little space in your area, and you're like, okay. And what did they do? Like when you talk to Janice, do they come out and measure and tell you what it is, or how's the process when you work with them?
Yeah, so I can't tell you how good they are to deal with. Janice, they have a person to come out just to make sure that your facility, that their product will work on your facility. And it does not have to be like plumb level. It just, because they have levelers, they can level it for you, but it just can't be on a hill. So you want to gravel it out or make it as level as you can. You can see now, this is the inside of those. Okay. These are steel beams very close together. It's very, very solid. This is called the diamond plate. You can get different flooring. We got the top of the line, the diamond plate. It's very, very hard, good, solid floor. And then one of the things we also did, the property, if I don't know, you probably don't remember from the other picture in the before, I'll show you real quick in the before pictures here. So this property, you can see there's an entry off this Fishery Loop Road. There's an entry off Main Avenue, North Main Avenue, and another entry off North Main Avenue. So what we ended up seeing was that this was a real thoroughfare. Like people would pull in here, pull out and go back, pull out there, cut through. All of that was going on. And we try to put ourselves in the position of tenants. And I want, whoops, let me go back to after. We try to put our positions.
You really only need one entrance, right?
I would not want all that. What?
Yeah, you only need one entrance.
We only need one entrance. So what we did, I don't know why this is taking a moment to put up, but we ended up fencing off 2 of
that looks really good. Yeah.
And we put up our private property, 24-hour surveillance.
So how much fence did you put in? If it's like you said 0.7 acres, right? Or something. I can't remember what you said.
No, this is about this is a little over an acre. We just put a fence covering the street entrance on both sides. So
okay. Like from one building to the other side, or what did y'all end up deciding to do? What to do?
Yeah. Well, just where the driveway was, like you can't come on. Like
I see. So you can still walk in the side.
You could walk in, but you can't drive in.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a gulch in there, so like you wouldn't be driving a car.
Okay.
Anyway.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all just decided to just do a fence just to block those entrances so that people couldn't just be driving through it and stuff.
Stop all the people from coming through, And this here, you can see, I want you to see this. This is how the building, and these little blocks are what they cut in order to make it level, if it's not 100% level. And this really looks like a portable thing just kind of put there. And we wanted uniformity. We wanted it to look like the other buildings. So you can purchase a skirt, what's called a skirt. And you see that there. It makes it look like all of our other buildings.
Yeah, it does. It looks awesome.
It's
Yeah.
a really,
I really like, go back to that picture. I really like the silver one too. Which I guess, is that the main building with the silver on or is that how it, like on the left corner?
this is the skirting and all
That's
of
what, that's what it looks like all the way across. Yeah, that looks really good.
it is really nice. And so what we did, we ended up going with this gray on the outside of that. And then you can see, we went with, well, you can't quite see, but our old units were blue with white here. Okay. And then the new units, the backside is gray. And the doors are blue and the framing is white.
So you got the white and the blue, and then the gray and the blue is what you have.
Yes. And the reason, I don't know why, I'm sorry, this isn't pulling up. The reason we went with the gray is because of the concrete building. And we just ended up painting that gray as well.
There it is.
Yeah, you can see, okay, here's the old one. It's kind of just the reverse, but we couldn't get it exactly the same, wasn't offered, but that's what we did. And I'm going to see here if I have a picture.
So each of those cost around $8,000 to $9,000, including the skirting and the putting it up and everything, or did they cost extra to put it up?
Oh no, they put it up for you. They do that. Here's a picture of, this is partially finished. You can see he still needed to, at the time I took the picture, this needed to be trimmed out here, but this is the same gray as the side of the storage units. So this is the same color gray. So it ties it in very nicely. One of the things you might want to think about, nothing against our former owner, but his philosophy was that the least he had to spend to get by, the better. Well, our philosophy, we go by the broken window philosophy. And if you know what that philosophy is, basically it says that if there's a building with a broken window, one broken window, chances are there will be other broken windows. So people see, oh, that's not very well kept up, so I don't have to keep it up either, right? So in the past, people would just, I'll show you, we repainted this. People would just move out and leave whatever junk either in the unit or out on the ground. And I recently had a guy and he left some broken shelf outside, and I called him up, and this is how I talked to him. I said, oh, I noticed that you forgot a shelf behind. And if you would like, I'm happy to dispose of that for you at a $50 charge, or you may come and pick it up by the weekend. Just let me know what is your preference. So, yeah.
This is what we do too. If somebody leaves it, we just say, we tell them, like, look, I mean, you have a cleaning fee. Ours is $250.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, we're mean.
Well, and you know, I've never had someone say, oh, just, I'll pay the fee. They always come back and get it.
Right. Yeah. They always come back. Oh, that's why we have it. Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah.
But there was.
So you guys painted this building too.
So yeah, well, we painted, I was still in process. You could see I didn't finish here, but we painted the stripes on the bottom to match the gray and the blue. And then, okay, this is the door. We got a different door. Remember the door that had the, so it's all a matter of, thank you. It's all a matter of training your tenants. So in order to train them not to put their payments in the door, as long as I had that old door, even if I'm saying, don't put your payments here, they're going to put their payments there. But if they're not able to put their payments, then they're forced into the new situation. They're trained into that. So, but when we moved here, there was all junk, like poles and all sort of crap, just all beside the buildings. And it was all, so people that was the standard for them. So they operated at that standard. And now we keep that place kept up. And if there is one little thing outside someone's unit, I'm on the phone with them. What do you want done with this? Do you want to pay to have us remove it for you? And so people have learned, and I got to tell you, it is like, there's nothing left behind anymore. They understand the new standard and they keep it up.
Does anybody ever talk about why is it not fenced in, the whole thing?
No.
Okay.
And
I like pointing that out because a lot of people think, oh, I got to fence this thing in and stuff, especially in tertiary markets.
And let me tell you, I'll tell you about that. And at some point, if we need to, might we fence it in? Yes. But our philosophy was, in deciding where to spend our money, what's a bigger deterrent? A fence that someone could maybe jump over if they really wanted to, if this was all fenced in, right? Or this sign right here that tells you you're going to be monitored 24/7. I think the sign is a bigger deterrent. The fact that we have those cameras set up is a bigger deterrent.
So do you guys put cameras everywhere? Or what?
We did. There was no security of any kind. And we got, I probably can't show you that. We got Vivint security cameras. And one of the, it's alibi vigilant cameras. One of the things that we liked about these cameras is that they show color at night. It's not some gray, grainy thing, but these show you color pictures at night. And you can really zoom in and you can get a license plate number off of those. And one of the things that I do at any chance I can, I remind our tenants that we have those cameras. So the guy that left the shelf, I said to him, I saw on the security cameras that you left a shelf behind. I'm always reminding them that, we're going to see what you're doing. And then people who don't rent here, these signs are at each of the two, they're on both of the two fences. And then also on the entry, where is that? I may not have that in here, but you can't go to the property without seeing that. I'm going to see what this is here. Oh, I'll show you this. This is what we did. We just did this. We added 4 more 10 by 20s back here. So we had someone excavate and level it. And then we set gravel. And then, my husband put these markers here so that, Janice knew where exactly to put the buildings. And I don't have a picture of those buildings right now for you. I guess I could take a screenshot off my security camera, but basically, there are these buildings here that we did the same. It's these ones here, but this is a good
example. Go back to like the overview of your facility. Where are those buildings at on the overview? Because it didn't look like there was any other room. So I'm just wondering, where did you put those?
It looks like there's not any room because where we put these is where this mobile home.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So there's new buildings here. And then we put in one new building where this is, and then we put in all new buildings here and then new buildings here.
Okay. So like every square inch that y'all could possibly put some buildings in, y'all like, we're going to find some places.
We did. And Google hasn't updated their pictures yet. So I as soon as they do, I want to get I want to get the after picture of this as well. And this is a gulch here. Nobody could even drive in there. There's a creek in there and everything. Yeah. That's a natural barrier. So really we have this fence. The neighbor has a fence back here. And this is all a big gulch here and then here. So it's kind of a natural barrier. People can't drive a car over here or here. And that's a gate. And then there's right now buildings here. So that blocks off that. And then if we wanted to complete everything, really all we would have to do is make this be a gate that has an open and close on it. That's all we really would have to do on that. But what else was I going to tell you?
In terms of so now you guys are using storage. Okay, so it took you, and because there was a question about this too. So it took you about 90 days to find the facility, get it under contract. It took about another 90 days to close it. So it took 6 months really to close the facility. And so somebody asked, how did you finance this? She got it seller finance. That's what she was trying to say. So the owner is the bank The owner's one that, is really lending the money to them, really is what it is. And she put 25% down of 400,000 is what she put, right? You put 25%
I
down, or what
put,
did you put?
no, so the total price the total price offer was 400,000 and we put 25% of that down. So we put
Yeah.
100,000 down.
Okay. And then you got 3% interest for 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what she got. Okay. So, and then the owner is the bank. That's called seller financing for anybody that hasn't heard of that. Okay. You don't have to go to a bank and get a loan, right? Because somebody's asking, did you get an SBA loan or whatever? No, the owner was the bank on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I prefer that. I mean, it just streamlines the process. Don't use a realtor, drive for storage, use Google for storage. So you don't have that. Don't use the bank. You don't have all that. A lot of people want to avoid capital gains taxes. And so they'll want to owner finance just for that reason alone. And in this case, this man wanted to do it to provide income for his wife because he has a really bad illness and he may not be able to.
And then so you closed on it. In the first 90 days, you're spending calling everybody, chasing tenants, trying to get them into storage, trying to get them to sign the contract, trying to get them to give you your payment information. And then after that, and then, how long did that take to really chase tenants and kind of get that organized?
Oh dear, that took a process of maybe 3 months, because if they're already paid up, they're not going to the facility to put their money in that. They don't see my note saying, put your name, put your address and your phone number with your name. They're not seeing that. So it took a good couple of months to do that. And this is a very rural area. And I know, you ripped that Band-Aid off, but we kind of didn't rip the Band-Aid off. What we did, I mean, some of these people, they do not have a credit card and they do not have a debit card. Now, I don't know how you do life that way, but that's how it was. And some of them are older and they've been renting here for our longest one, 20 years. So, and then it's a small community. And, what we ended up doing was we said, okay, you can't pay at the door anymore. We want you to be on storage, but if you cannot do that, you will need to pay at the bank. The bank knows us very well. We have an account there. They just say, I'm so-and-so, I'm paying for unit 59 and here's my payment. And they put it in our account. And really, it's not a bad deal. On storage, I'm paying credit card fees for that. So I don't.
Yes. Yeah, it's true.
I don't mind if they can pay at the bank, but they're not paying at that door.
Do a lot of people go to the bank and pay at the bank?
We have a good number of them that do. And now though, with our new tenants, we make anyone new signing up now that's not grandfathered in, they do have to do it through storage, because even with the bank, you do have extra work. Like we'll get a notice from the bank and it'll say, $285 was deposited today, another 95 today. And so we don't know who deposited those right away. So there's like a lag time. And sometimes I'll get a notice, I'll get a message from a tenant and they'll say, well, I paid at the bank. I'm like, yeah, you have to understand when you choose to pay at the bank and not on storage, there is going to be a delay. And sometimes the system doesn't know you've paid. So you'll get a late notice. So there's that in there. But I mean, just, and one of the things we wanted to do is we really wanted to get to know the community. It wasn't the community we lived in. And just from talking to Matt for those 2 hours, we really learned that it is a very rural area. And so, with people maybe stuck in their ways of thinking in some ways. And so we did not want to upset the community, these new people came from out of town and what are they, we wanted a good name in the community. And, we have that now. People, I think the mail lady, she's like, wow, you guys are the talk of the town. Everyone's looking at what you're doing here. You're doing a great job. And so we're like,
a lot happens in Irwin, Texas. Irwin, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Storage, like, wow, they're really building out this storage facility.
Yeah. So,
that's funny.
And the one thing I want to say, Stacy, before we added these buildings, again, one of the resources on StorageNerds, there's a number of different feasibility study experts on there. We chose one of them and we had a feasibility study because you know what? Storage is doing great. It's wonderful. but in some areas you could max it out. Like you could build more units and you could be empty.
Okay, so you got a
we-
feasibility study
we
before
did
you
a
added all these
feasibility
units?
study. Yeah. To see,
Good. Did you use Catherine?
we did. Yep.
Oh, good.
Storage
Okay.
Ninjas, Catherine Diagostino.
Diagostino. Yeah.
And
Yeah. And she gave you a
so
thumbs up?
she gave us a thumbs up on this. And we had it kind of combined, like, we want to add more and we might want to buy another one in the same area so that when we drive to our storage, we're only driving an hour and we can hit both of them. So, but yeah, she could do all different sorts of stuff for you. And I would just say, even some people might want to do that before they purchase a facility, but if you can't get an idea from the owner of how many are vacant, and if you can get an idea of how many are vacant, there's still the question of why are they vacant? Like maybe they wouldn't have to be, maybe the place is so trashy that people are moving out and they don't want to be there because they don't feel safe. Maybe vacant because they're wrongly priced. So that's one of the things that Catherine does for you. She figures all that out.
So how much time now? I mean, now that y'all are stabilizing the property, y'all are doing really well. How much time and effort does this thing take on a weekly basis?
Yeah, so good question. We have hired someone to take care of the lawn, so we don't have to do that. It's a bit over an acre, and we did not want to be mowing that lawn. And in this, it takes weed whacking in that gulch there, so we don't want to do that. We hired someone to do that. We do a hybrid as far as managing, because we have storage, which is automatic. We have the yard guy, which is hands off, but we physically go there probably about once a week, unless we're out of town. We go once a week, walk the facility, make sure, is anybody leaving any junk out? Is any, and then if we realize someone needs to be overlocked, we'll go and we will actually do the overlocking. We also actually do the inspection of a unit when a person moves out. We do that.
You guys are the boots on the ground people.
We're the boots on the ground.
And you're the call center. So you're answering the calls and doing the boots on the ground. So you're really managing this yourself.
Yes. And we don't have a lot of turnover. So it's not real busy. We don't have a lot of turnover right now. We haven't since we bought it. There's some people, I'm building a house in town. I need a place to store my things because I sold my house,
So what's the income? Like, what's your income now versus what it was when you bought it?
Oh, wow. Okay. So let's see here. We had 69 doors when we bought it. I think maybe his income was about 60,000, maybe.
Okay. So he was doing pretty good. Okay.
Yeah. I think now with the doors we've added, I think we're on track for 95, maybe 100 grand.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. That's good.
And here's the thing, and some of that income really is from late people. I hate to tell you, but so find out what are your state laws regarding late charges and max that out. So in the state of Tennessee, you're allowed to charge 20% of the unit or $20, whatever is more you can charge. In our case, it's $20. So I have a person who says to me, well, I can't pay on the 1st of the month. I have to pay on the 15th of the month because that's when I get my check. Now, she needs a lesson in budgeting, right? But I'll take her $20 every month if that's what she wants to do. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you still charge a late fee then? I
absolutely do.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
So we charge those late fees because it's just a matter, it's all, the message we're sending is this, it's twofold. We are going to provide you the absolute cleanest, best facility. We are also going to provide an environment where at that same level, you pay on time, you keep up your part. Like we have high standards all around. We provide a high standard for you and you provide that back to us.
Yeah. Good. I mean, you guys are managing it very well. I mean, obviously you're increasing the rent, you're adding new building, you're doing exactly what you should be doing from the moment that you joined StorageNerds all the way until now. You're doing exactly what you should be doing.
Thank you.
Which is good, which is awesome. Yes.
I wouldn't have been able to do
a lot of people do that.
And Stacy, I would not have been able to do this without StorageNerds. And I'll tell you, I have a family member and she said, I just thought it was crazy. Why are you paying this money to join this StorageNerds thing? You bought a storage facility. What's the big deal? Just run it. Like what, And after a while, she's like, wow, I can really see why you did that, why you went that way. So it's been worth it for us. It's just been a cornucopia of information for us that we've been able to use to make our place successful.
Well, so now you've done this a year. So what are your plans? Are y'all going to look for another facility? Or are y'all just going to stabilize this? Or what are you guys thinking?
Well, I think this is pretty much stabilized at this point. This is stabilized at this point. Everything we wanted done is done. We would like to purchase another facility. We're kind of waiting, like what happens after the next election? Is it going to impact interest rates?
Okay.
We'd prefer not to buy with these interest rates as high as they are. And look, there's ways you can do it. And maybe there are owners who will owner finance and they don't need that high interest rate. Maybe that's a possibility, but we're just kind of holding out just to see if we can get lower interest rates. Like if these interest rates lower,
I think it's going to take a couple of years to get back to it's never going to get as low as what y'all got, but I would say like around 6% is where it's going to get to. So y'all just have to keep that in mind. But then also you have your list of all these facilities. So, I mean, you really should be in contact with all of them on a regular basis, like you said, and just, let them know I'm still here. We bought the first one. We got it stabilized. We're always looking for another one. We're still here.
Yeah, that's
just never know.
Keep lines open, keep the communication open.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good. We all are doing a great job. And unfortunately, I see a lot of questions coming in, but I have to jump off because I do have another thing that I have to do. But you guys, Jeffrey, y'all are doing a great job in managing the property, finding funding, running is doing really well. So I appreciate you hopping on. And then all these questions that you're asking, if you have any specific questions, you are more than welcome to join the Facebook group. And then there's super simple self-storage is the Facebook group, or you can these types of questions that you're asking go directly into the Facebook group and I can answer those for you there. Okay. Always questions go into the Facebook group. And then on top of that, check out StorageNerds, just like Jennifer. All right. And come check out the program, come hang out with us. And so now I was going to say too, and a reminder, there's the facility owner mastermind. Now, so you're an owner, so you have to come to these masterminds and listen to all of the other owners. And so it's on Tuesdays at 2:00, right? The second Tuesday. So make sure you come to those. Okay, Jennifer?
Okay.
Okay. All right. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you guys hopping on, but I got to hop off. I got another meeting. All right. All right. Take care, Jennifer. Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.